In the high desert of northern New Mexico, there is a town called Taos. It is a place of ancient beauty, where the rugged Sangre de Cristo mountains meet a vast open mesa. The sky here is immense, a canvas of brilliant blue days and star-filled nights. For centuries, artists and spiritual seekers have been drawn to this land, seeking peace and inspiration. But since the early 1990s, another presence has made itself known. It is not something you can see. It is not something you can touch. It is a sound, a persistent low-frequency hum that has settled over this town like an invisible shroud, a mystery that whispers just at the edge of human perception. This sound is known as the Taos hum. It has become a part of the local folklore, a modern mystery woven into the fabric of an ancient landscape. The hum is not a constant roar that everyone can hear. Instead, it is selective, choosing its audience with an unsettling precision. Only a small fraction of the population, estimated to be around 2%, can perceive it. For them, it is an inescapable reality, a maddening drone that infiltrates their homes and their minds. It is a sound without an apparent source, a phenomenon that defies easy explanation and challenges our understanding of the world around us. What is this sound, and where does it come from? The hum is often described as a deep, rumbling noise, similar to the sound of a diesel engine idling in the distance. But this engine never turns off. It drones on, day after day, night after night. Some compare it to the vibration of a large refrigerator, or the low thrum of industrial machinery. Yet Taos is a small, quiet town, far removed from the clamour of heavy industry. There are no factories or power plants that could account for such a sound. The hum seems to emanate from the very air, or perhaps from the ground beneath their feet, a phantom vibration that has become the soundtrack to their lives. This enigma is not just a local curiosity. It is a puzzle that has attracted scientists, journalists, and paranormal investigators from all over the world. They come to Taos armed with theories and sophisticated equipment, hoping to be the ones to finally solve the riddle. But the high desert holds its secrets close. The hum remains elusive, a ghost in the machine of our sensory world. It is a story of a community haunted by a sound, a testament to the idea that there are still phenomena in our world that lie beyond the reach of our current science. The search for its origin is a journey into the unknown. The most perplexing aspect of the Taos hum is its selective nature. Imagine standing in a quiet room with a friend. You are tormented by a low, incessant drone, a pressure building in your ears, yet your friend hears nothing but silence. This is the daily reality for the hearers of Taos. It is an experience that can be deeply isolating, creating a strange and invisible barrier between them and the rest of the world. They are hearing something that, for most people, simply does not exist. This division turns a scientific mystery into a personal and psychological challenge, questioning the very nature of their own perception. Those who can hear the hum are often ordinary people from all walks of life. They are not connected by profession, age, or background. The only thing they share is this strange auditory experience. Many report that the sound is more noticeable indoors, particularly at night when the ambient noise of the day fades away. It seems to amplify in the stillness, becoming a dominant force in the quiet of their homes. Some have tried to escape it, only to find that the sound follows them. It is a personal ghost, an acoustic shadow that they cannot outrun. The inability to share this experience with loved ones often leads to frustration and doubt. The sound itself is described with a frustrating lack of consistency, which only deepens the mystery. While the idling diesel engine is a common comparison, others describe it as a whirring, a buzzing, or even a low-pitched pulsing. This variant suggests that the phenomenon may not be a single simple sound wave. Could it be a complex combination of frequencies? Or is the perception of the sound influenced by the individual's own biology? This lack of a clear, universal description makes it incredibly difficult for researchers to pinpoint what they are even looking for. It is like trying to hunt a creature that changes its shape for every witness. This strange selectivity has led some to question if the hearers are truly experiencing an external sound at all. Perhaps they suggest the origin is internal. Tinnitus, a condition causing a ringing in the ears, is a well-known medical phenomenon. However, the Taos hum does not behave like typical tinnitus. The hearers can often point to a direction from which the sound seems to emanate, usually the northeast. Some even report that they can escape the sound by traveling a certain distance away from Taos, only for it to return upon their arrival back home. This suggests an external source, an invisible intruder in the Taos landscape. The effects of the Taos hum extend far beyond mere annoyance. For those who hear it, the constant low-frequency sound is a form of chronic torment that slowly erodes their quality of life. The most commonly reported symptom is severe sleep disruption. The quiet of the night, which should bring rest and reprieve, instead becomes a time of heightened awareness of the drone. People describe lying awake for hours, their minds fixated on the endless rumble that seems to vibrate through their pillows. This prolonged insomnia leads to a cascade of other issues, including chronic fatigue, irritability, and an inability to concentrate during the day. Beyond the exhaustion, the hum inflicts a significant psychological toll. Living with a constant, unexplainable noise that others cannot hear can be a deeply unsettling experience. It can lead to high levels of anxiety and stress. Hearers report feeling on edge, as if their nervous system is perpetually in a state of alert. The inability to find a quiet refuge, even within their own homes, creates a sense of being trapped. This psychological pressure is compounded by the skepticism they often face from friends, family, and even medical professionals, who may dismiss their experience as imaginary or psychosomatic. Some of the reported physical symptoms are even more alarming and difficult to explain. A number of hearers have complained of recurring headaches, dizziness, and a feeling of pressure in their heads or ears. In some of the more extreme cases, individuals have reported experiencing spontaneous nosebleeds that coincide with periods when the hum seems particularly intense. These physiological reactions are harder to dismiss. They suggest that the hum, whatever its origin, may be more than just a sound. It could be a physical force, a vibration that is interacting with the human body in a harmful and invasive way. The cumulative effect of these symptoms has driven some residents to desperation. People have spent thousands of dollars soundproofing their homes, installing thick insulation and special windows, only to find that the low-frequency vibrations penetrate their defenses with ease. Others have resorted to using white noise machines or fans, creating a wall of sound to mask the hum, a strategy that trades one noise for another. For a few, the only solution has been to leave. They have abandoned their homes and the lives they built in Taos, choosing to become refugees from a sound that no one can prove is there. As the sun sets over the high desert, casting long, dramatic shadows across the mesa, a different kind of life begins in Taos. For most residents, it is a time of peace, a quiet end to the day. But for the hearers, it is the beginning of their struggle. The darkness does not bring silence. It amplifies the hum, the subtle noises of daily life, the distant traffic, the barking dogs, the chatter of neighbors, all fade away, leaving the drone exposed in the stillness. It is in these quiet hours that the hum asserts its dominance, a relentless presence in the night. This is when the search for its source becomes a personal, almost obsessive quest. Imagine a home in the late hours. The lights are low. A resident sits at their kitchen table, nursing a cup of tea, listening. Their head is tilted, their eyes focused on nothing in particular. They are trying to locate the sound, to understand its nature. Does it come from the walls, from the floor, from the sky outside? They move from room to room, a silent nightly patrol of their own home. They press their ear against the window pane, feeling the cold glass, straining to hear if the sound is stronger outside. But the hum is everywhere and nowhere at once, an omnipresent vibration that defies localization. The visual landscape of this nightly struggle is eerie and isolating. We see flickering porch lights casting an unsteady glow on empty yards. We see the distorted reflection of a tired face in a dark window, with the vast, empty desert stretching out beyond. The wind whispers through the sagebrush, a natural sound that provides no comfort. only another layer to the unsettling acoustic environment. Inside the hum is a felt presence, a low thrum that seems to vibrate not just in the ears, but in the chest cavity, a physical manifestation of their anxiety. The home, once a sanctuary, becomes a listening post in a lonely vigil. These scenes are repeated across Taos, in different homes by different people, all sharing the same isolating experience. They are unwilling participants in a strange experiment. The nights are long, marked by the slow ticking of a clock that seems to mock their sleeplessness. They are trapped in a low-frequency world, listening to a sound that science has yet to explain and that society has yet to fully acknowledge. As the first hints of dawn appear on the eastern horizon, they may finally drift into an exhausted sleep, knowing that the mystery will be waiting for them when they wake. The hum will still be there. When a phenomenon defies conventional explanation, human nature, just rushes to fill the void with theories. The Taos hum is no exception. The explanations range from the psychological to the conspiratorial, each attempting to impose order on the chaos of the unknown. One of the most prominent skeptical theories is that the hum is a form of mass psychogenic illness, which was previously known as mass hysteria. This theory suggests that the power of suggestion, amplified by media reports, has led a small group of susceptible individuals to believe they are hearing a sound that is not actually there. It is not a conscious fabrication, but rather a genuine, psychosomatic experience. Proponents of this theory point to the fact that the hum gained widespread attention only after news stories about it began to circulate in the early 1990s. They argue that a few initial reports may have planted a seed in the community's consciousness. People who were already experiencing mild tinnitus or were highly sensitive to ambient noise might have started attributing these sensations to the now famous Taos hum. In this view, the hum is a social contagion, an idea that spreads like a virus through a community, creating a shared delusion. It is an uncomfortable theory, as it implies that the suffering of the hearers is, in a sense, self-inflicted. On the other end of the spectrum lies a more sinister explanation: secret government activity. The desert landscape of the American Southwest has long been a theatre for clandestine military operations and advanced technological testing. Nearby national laboratories, such as Los Alamos, are centres of cutting-edge and often classified research. This has fueled speculation that the hum is an unintended byproduct of some top-secret project. Perhaps it is a communication system that uses extremely low-frequency radio waves to contact submarines. Or maybe it is the sound of experimental aircraft or a deep underground tunneling project. This theory is compelling because it offers a tangible, albeit hidden, source for the sound. It taps into a deep-seated distrust of official institutions and the belief that powerful entities operate beyond public scrutiny. Residents have pointed to the proximity of military bases and research facilities as circumstantial evidence. However, government and military officials have consistently denied any knowledge of activities that could produce such a sound. These denials, of course, do little to dissuade those who believe in a conspiracy. For them, the official silence is not a sign of innocence, but further proof that something is being hidden from the public. When scientific and conventional theories fail to provide a satisfactory answer, some people turn their gaze toward the paranormal. In a place as spiritually charged as Taos, with its rich history of Native American traditions and New Age beliefs, it is perhaps inevitable that supernatural explanations for the hum would emerge. For some, the hum is not a product of technology or psychology, but a phenomenon that originates from a different realm of existence. It's seen as a message, a warning, or simply the sound of something ancient and otherworldly stirring beneath the desert floor. One paranormal theory suggests that the hum is a form of telluric energy, the natural vibrations of the earth itself. Proponents of this idea believe that Taos is located at a point of powerful geomagnetic convergence, a place where the planet's own life force is particularly strong and audible to those who are sensitive enough to perceive it. They might see the hum not as a nuisance, but as a sacred sound, the voice of the Earth Mother. In this interpretation, the physical discomfort experienced by hearers is a result of their bodies being out of harmony with this powerful natural frequency, a spiritual ailment rather than a physical one. Another, more unsettling possibility entertained by some is that the hum is connected to UFO activity. The Southwest has been a hotspot for UFO sightings for decades, and the mystery of the hum fits neatly into this lore. Could the low, vibrating sound be the propulsion system of extraterrestrial craft, either hovering invisibly in the sky or operating from a hidden base deep underground? This theory, while dismissed by mainstream science, persists in the public imagination. It provides a narrative that is both terrifying and strangely exciting, transforming a local noise complaint into a potential sign of contact with a non-human intelligence. Ultimately, the paranormal theories, much like the others, lack concrete evidence. They're built on belief, intuition, and the interpretation of anecdotal experiences. They speak to a deep human need to find meaning in the unexplainable, to connect a strange phenomenon to a larger, more cosmic story. Whether the Taos hum is the sound of the Earth, the engine of a UFO, or something else entirely from beyond our understanding, these theories ensure that the mystery remains vibrant. They push the boundaries of the investigation, reminding us that sometimes the most profound questions are not about what we can measure, but about what we are willing to believe. Faced with a growing number of public complaints and media attention, the scientific community could not ignore the Taos hum forever. In the mid-1990s, a team of researchers from the University of New Mexico, along with investigators from Los Alamos National Laboratory and other institutions, launched a formal investigation. Their goal was simple: to capture, measure, and identify the source of the mysterious sound. They arrived in Taos with an arsenal of sophisticated equipment, including sensitive microphones, geomagnetic sensors, and spectrum analyzers designed to detect even the faintest acoustic or vibrational anomalies. The investigation was thorough. The scientists set up their equipment in the homes of several of the most prominent hearers. They conducted extensive interviews, mapping out where and when the hum was most intense. They cross-referenced the reports with data on local seismic activity, electromagnetic fields, and industrial noise. The team was optimistic that with their state-of-the-art tools, they would be able to isolate the signal and put the mystery to rest. The hearers, too, were hopeful, believing that they would finally receive validation, that their invisible tormentor would be made visible through the language of data. However, the results were profoundly anticlimactic and deeply frustrating. Despite the numerous reports from hearers who claimed the hum was present and powerful during the tests, the sensitive equipment picked up nothing. The microphones recorded only the expected ambient sounds of a quiet, rural environment. The spectrum analyzers showed no anomalous spikes in the low-frequency range. The geomagnetic sensors detected no unusual fluctuations. It was as if the hum knew it was being watched and had decided to fall silent for the scientists. Science, for all its power, had come up empty-handed. The official report concluded that they could find no evidence of any acoustic or vibrational signal that would account for the experiences described by the hearers. While the investigation did validate the sincerity of the witnesses, confirming that they were not fabricating their stories, it could offer no physical explanation for their suffering. This failure was a turning point in the story of the Taos hum. It deepened the mystery rather than solving it. If the sound could not be measured, did it truly exist in the physical world? Or was it a phenomenon that operated outside the known laws of physics and perception? The failure of the formal scientific investigation did not end the search, but it did change its nature. The mystery of the Taos hum moved from the laboratory back into the realm of personal investigation and fringe science. The official silence left a vacuum, which was quickly filled with the static of competing claims and unverified data. Independent researchers and amateur sleuths continued the hunt, armed with their own equipment and theories. They recorded hours of audio, poring over the recordings for any hint of the elusive sound. searching for a ghost in the machine that the university scientists had missed. These independent efforts have produced a wealth of intriguing yet inconclusive evidence. Some have claimed to capture the hum, presenting audio files with a low, throbbing sound that they believe is the genuine article. However, these recordings are often plagued by issues of contamination from background noise, such as electrical hum from appliances or distant traffic. Without a controlled environment and peer review, it is impossible to verify their authenticity. The internet is now filled with these supposed recordings, creating an echo chamber where the hum exists as a digital spectre, endlessly debated but never definitively proven. The story of the Taos hum has also become a global one. Similar mysterious hums have been reported in other locations around the world, from Bristol in the United Kingdom to Bondi in Australia. These phenomena, collectively known as the hum, share many characteristics with the Taos case: a low-frequency drone, audible to only a small percentage of the population, with no identifiable source. This global context suggests that the hum may not be a uniquely Taos phenomenon, but part of a larger planet-wide mystery. Are these separate, localized events, or are they all connected to a single unknown source? This proliferation of hums worldwide both complicates and enriches the search for answers. It makes a localized explanation, like a specific secret project near Taos, less likely. Instead, it points towards more universal possibilities, whether they be geological, atmospheric, or even biological. Perhaps it is a byproduct of our global technological infrastructure, or a natural Earth resonance that only some people are tuned into. The Taos hum is no longer just a local curiosity. It has become the most famous example of a worldwide enigma. Its echoes heard in the static of countless other unexplained reports from across the globe. Today, decades after it was first widely reported, the Taos hum remains an unsolved mystery. The high desert continues to guard its secret, offering no clear answers. The hearers, some of whom have been listening to the drone for more than 30 years, continue their nightly vigils. They have grown older, but the hum has remained a constant, unwelcome companion. For them, the enigma is not an abstract puzzle. It is a chronic condition, a fundamental part of their daily existence. The lack of a resolution has left them in a state of perpetual limbo, caught between a sound they cannot escape and a world that cannot hear it. The story of the Taos hum has become a modern legend, a cautionary tale about the limits of human perception and scientific inquiry. It demonstrates that there are still profound mysteries in our own backyards, phenomena that resist our attempts to categorize and explain them. The hum forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. What does it mean when a person's sensory experience cannot be objectively verified? How do we distinguish between a real external phenomenon and a product of the human mind or body? The hum exists in this grey area, a space where physiology, psychology, and the physical environment intersect in ways we do not yet understand. The search for the source may one day yield an answer. A new technology might finally be able to detect the sound. A declassified document might reveal a secret project. A geological discovery might uncover a strange resonance beneath the Earth's crust. But until that day comes, the hum will persist as a symbol of the unknown. It is a reminder that the world is not always as it seems, and that there are frequencies and forces at play that lie just beyond the edge of our awareness. It is a quiet, insistent question mark hanging over the serene landscape of Taos. And so, the mystery endures. The sun sets, the night falls, and in the deep silence of the New Mexico desert, an invisible, inaudible orchestra plays on. For most of us, there is only the sound of the wind, but for a select few, there is the hum, a low, steady, and unending sound. A puzzle made of vibration and air, an enigma that continues its broadcast from an unknown station, waiting patiently for someone, somewhere, to finally tune in and understand its message. The search, like the hum itself, goes on.